First and foremost, you released a game on Steam that is called Books of Grandura. And I'm very proud that you did this because it takes a lot of balls to do this.
Thank you, bro.
No, I think so. Where's the stoppage? There we go. I know that it took you a long time. And for anyone that wants to know, this is the game. And the game is essentially... It's 3 games in 1 game. So we have tower defense game, we have an auto battler, and a traditional roguelike. And the one that I liked the most out of the 3 was the tower defense, of course, because I'm making a tower defense game. And so I thought, while I'm playing a little bit through the game, we can talk a little bit about your journey, how long it took you, and, well, basically, what inspired you to make games.
That is complaining about my camera. Gates in your screen.
Oh, I see. So basically your camera is covering everything. So anyways, this is your game and I'm currently playing the roguelike version and I wanted to know, first I wanted to, talk a little bit about the game. In the roguelike version, what is the goal here that you have to do?
Well, the goal there is, it's connected to the other book, the Auto Battler. If you finish that first, you'd be able to make sense of what's the ending here, but you can still play the game without playing the other book, but yeah, you have to kill a big minotaur, basically. And then so there's gonna be some slideshow, like some text. I know you don't like text, but there's some text that you have to read. That's about it.
And so this game is connected to one of the books, the Auto Battler, in, like, it's supposed to be the first game that you're supposed to play.
But it's not. It's slightly connected. Slightly.
Okay. And so your goal in this game is to ultimately defeat the last boss without dying, because if you die, you have to begin again. I think I'm currently beginning again. Yeah. Because it's a roguelike game. But I remember when you first joined the stream, and we talked about your game a long time ago, this is the first thing that you had. You didn't have any of the other game types. They came in much later.
Yeah, and the game didn't really look like this back then. And it was a different kind of game. It was an RPG. It was a turn-based RPG. Here's just a roguelike where you control one unit. Yeah.
And so, but this is still, for anyone that doesn't know how this works, in combat you have kind of turns, right? So I can click, for example, number 1, the attack, and if I click number 1 on an enemy, then the enemy gets a turn after me and attacks me back. But it's... and then
you never use the other... You never used the other abilities though when you played it last time. So I
didn't. Yeah, I think part of the reason was because number 1 just did a lot of damage.
Yeah.
And the other ones...
I mean, the other abilities are also free. Yeah,
I didn't actually know that you could do that, yeah. But number 1 dealt the most amount of damage, which is why...
Yeah, it does do damage.
Hey. Can I... Oh, I see. So this is like teleporting?
Yeah, it's teleport and some sort of a copy.
Where am I taking damage now? What the fuck?
Your 3 uses your HP to use the ability.
Oh, I see. So, I see. Okay, so talking about the different mechanics, what is your favorite, like, mode in the game? And your favorite mechanic in the game? So why did you go with... You effectively created Ditto from Pokemon in here, didn't you?
Yeah, basically. Well, my favorite mode is the mode you're playing here. And it's probably the most... the hardest mode to play anyway.
What is this? I just bought it?
You can buy stuff. When you have your inventory here, and when your camera is covering it, so I can't see if you bought something.
Yeah, I think I did. Or inventory. Yeah, I did. So what is this? Grants physical armor, hold space to show upgrade.
I mean,
it shows an upgrade.
You asked my favorite mechanic. Well, you can drop items, for example. Like just drag that iron plate to the ground and use 4 or 3. Not on you, yeah. Use 3 or 4 on it.
I
Yeah,
see.
something like that.
You can essentially...
But you still keep the item though.
you can essentially turn into anything in the world. So can I turn into this guy?
Basically.
No.
Yeah, you can. You can use 4
Yeah.
over the guy. You have to do it over it.
What?
No. Next, you target the ability next to the guy as long as you hit him.
Oh, shit. Wait. Oh, wait. Wait, sorry.
Nope. Fucking hit him.
What am I supposed to...
AI?
3.
Pog you?
Criminal? Uh-oh. What is your defense? Yeah. And so, talking about this is your first C++ game, is it?
Yep.
Or like a game in general. I wonder if you started with Unity first, but it didn't work out for you. Like, how did you end up with C++, actually? If this is your first game.
I went to college and they just blasted me with C++ and I just stuck with it. I did try Unity for like 1 hour. I didn't really like it. I didn't know what was going on. Yeah.
Wow.
And I just stuck with it the rest of my life.
And so why did you want to make games? Like if you said you went to university, right? Why did you even get into games? Like was it a university about games?
No, it was just a general IT college. It wasn't even a university. I mean, I like games. Everybody likes games. So I just started to make games, I guess.
So you somehow, did you actually finish university or did you have so much fun making this game that you ultimately decided?
I did not. I only went for 1 year and some stuff happened. Like my cat died, the dog got cancer and I just stopped.
I see. You didn't have your mind there anymore. And so would you say that university is a good thing to do or not?
I would say so. I'm not gonna be one of those guys that say, don't do university. Like university sucks. I'm pretty sure you're gonna learn a lot of stuff there, and you're also gonna meet lots of people. But for learning, no. But for other stuff, yes. I think university is worth it.
I think you're right. So if you're purely talking about learning, then I wouldn't go there either. Yeah. I didn't learn much in university either. But the cool thing is, exactly, you meet people your age that will most likely have the same interests as you. And so you could make friends there, yeah. And so, like, talking about this, right? So that when you were in university and you started working on this game immediately, or did you make smaller games first?
I made smaller games. You remember the one I sent you? The Minimart one? That was actually my first one, but I didn't finish it.
For those of you who don't know the game... Hey! The game that he made before then was like a minimum store owner, right? The mini store owner. And you would have to scan products and then sell them, essentially.
Yeah, a paper please clone.
How do I keep losing, man? This game's too hard. So yeah, that's what I wanted to get on next. And that's actually a question by Mr. Shade11. He wanted to ask, and it goes into my question as well. How long did you develop this game, and how long was what was your experience going into this? And then how long did it ultimately take you to make this game from start to finish?
It took me, I don't know, 4 years. So I started when I was 22. Now I'm fucking old, 26.
It's not old, bro.
Yeah, it took me 4 years. Basically, my experiences, like the first couple years were so bad. Like, I didn't know that the project was gonna be this big. Well, for one person anyway. And whenever I tried to work on the code, like I would change something, the compile times was just through the roof. It was 5 minutes. Then I managed to reduce it somehow to 1 minute.
1 minute for modern C++. That's actually really good.
On a clean build.
Essentially, you started working on your game about 4 years ago because now you recently released it, right? And so what was your schedule? This is a Shade11's question, actually. What was your schedule when you worked on the game? Like time spent on development and then time spent maybe on working on or sleeping?
Well, I just did some part-time jobs to get enough money to like work on it. So I was mostly working on it full time. My schedule, like my actual schedule, I'll be awake like at and I would be asleep during the day, basically. I don't know. I just like working at night. That's what you're asking about.
Yeah, and so I guess what the question is, if you had like a fixed schedule, like, okay, I'm gonna wake up at, if you, let's say you work at night.
Just, well, sometimes I would just sleep late, and then the moment I wake up, I just start blasting, open up some streams. That's mainly it.
So it was basically all over the place, but you stayed consistent, right? You tried to do something every day.
Is key.
Yeah. See, that's what I see, what I think so too. Because I'm pretty sure you had to do all of the art yourself as well, right? I've seen you draw art and you had to learn GIMP. Yeah, I'm wondering, so when I first saw your game, you had the roguelike. What made you add in a tower defense game and an auto battle at the same time? Did you feel like your roguelike alone wasn't enough?
Not really. I mean,
because it's ultimately 3 games, you know, in one game.
I don't know. It was my first game, and I just wanted to have fun making it. The game was almost finished anyway with the roguelike, and I was like, let me just add more stuff. And that's how it turned out.
Because you could have, I think you could have also just released your roguelike game, right, in the state it was. So this is essentially what I find interesting as well. And it's another question from Shade11. You like probably had an idea for how long you want to work on the game, right? Like some sort of
it was 1 year.
What you want, and it ultimately took you 4 years, right? So because you had to write the engine yourself as well, correct? And so, like, doing that, did you, like, how did it change to 4 years? What happened? What do you think?
What happened? I don't know. There was maybe some procrastination going on, and the idea changed, basically. It wasn't like that. I mean, the roguelike wasn't like that. When I first started making it, it was simple, like, much simpler, basically no text. You just wake up somewhere in a dungeon, play the game. When you die, you do it again. Well, as you can see, there's a bunch of text. There's like a story. You have a small town now where you can buy stuff. Basically, the game changed a lot for some reason. I don't know. It just happens, you know. Here's
a question which, you know, if you don't want us to answer, which is fine, but it's a little bit more personal. Argument from Stream asks if your family supported you all the way through. How was that for you? Did you have like your family, did they know that you make a game?
Yeah, but when I started making this game, I left. So they really didn't have any say. And I really didn't hear them. Well, I don't hear what they say every day because I moved out. So supportive, maybe not. I don't know.
So like, but you never talked with them about it?
I mean, I told them I'm making a game.
But I guess they are like my parents, so they don't really understand.
Yeah, something like that.
But ultimately, you just supported yourself with working part-time, right? And that worked out for you where you live. Like that was enough for you because...
yeah, I mean, I didn't rent a whole apartment, you know. Like I had some roommates to share the rent with.
So you like... Okay, so you like living with other people? Because I don't.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, I knew the guy. I was living with. Not gay. I just know him. He was my friend.
Here's another question which might be a bit generic. It's from Mr. Amida. Did you try to get government funds? Because in Germany we have government funds, and there you didn't.
Government funds for the game?
Yeah, exactly.
Like
for
they
the
do
game.
that in Germany?
Like they do that in Germany with Snake, in with more than one direction. Yes, more than two directions.
I don't know if there are any programs like that here in Canuckland, and I'm not aware of any. I know they do it. I know they do it in Australia as well, but I don't know about here in.
So you didn't even try to get funding. You were like, okay, I'm just gonna support myself. Doesn't matter what happens.
Yep.
Okay. I mean, I think that's the best thing to do, because ultimately you will be held accountable, and then I think it would put more pressure on you.
I just wanted to finish a game, you know? For my first game, I just wanted it done.
Do you feel proud that you managed to do it after such a long time?
Yes, of course. Like a 4-year commitment. I mean, I was like most people, I guess, before, where like I would start a project for like 3 months and then scrap it. 1 month, scrap it. But I was like, you know what? That me is done. Let's make something. Let's make something.
Okay, so here's a question that goes into what I'm doing too, and I find this question interesting. You streamed the development of this game on Twitch for, I think, a couple of months, right?
7 months. Yeah, I think 7 months.
Yeah, and so Mr.
That was
Azen...
like the end.
What did you say?
That was like almost the end of the game, of the development phase anyway.
Yeah. So because Mr. Azen wants to know if streaming the game was helpful, or did it just slow you down?
Sometimes it slowed me down, but most of the times, you know, I was just me, basically. I was just if it's as if I wasn't streaming, basically. Because you would read chat, and if people don't read chat, it becomes kind of sad. Like the chat interaction.
So what you mean is you would mostly program and not really read much chat. Is that what you're saying? When you were streaming?
I would read. That's what slowed me down sometimes when I read chat, because you know people just keep on blabbering, and I have to, you know, entertain the chat.
Yeah, I mean, you do have to, like, that's the reason why you stream, right? So you think it slowed you down because you talked with chat sometimes?
Not by a lot. Some people are annoying though. And
yeah, like some people like TCAP, right?
No, not TCAP. Not TCAP. TCAP is goated.
Okay, I see. Question for me. Did you do any marketing for the game? Other than streaming? Because streaming is marketing too. And you also made one YouTube video, I know that.
Yeah. I posted on Reddit when I published the game, when I released the game. That's about it. Do not do that.
No? Why not?
No, do not do that. You should start way before the game, way before you finish the game, basically. You gotta tell people your game exists.
So you made one Reddit post. You wanna post that Reddit post in chat? You wanna post the link? Can we take a look at that?
No, I wouldn't do that.
No?
No, it was just my game is out. Go check it out. Nobody really.
Like, so it had like 2 upvotes or something.
Yeah, 2 upvotes, 1 upvote.
Those people, like, so what I noticed is people do that a lot. And I think, like, I don't want to be mean or anything, but like everyone does that, right? So why would it be special for someone else, right? If you have thousands and thousands of people doing this.
I don't know.
Right?
I mean, I think my advice to you is that every little small addition you add to a game, you just post it on Twitter with like hashtag #IndieDevGamedev to like get some traction and get some followers. Basically.
I tried that for a while actually.
I mean, you should keep doing it, in my opinion. like you would not want to release your game with like 300 wish lists like I did. At least 5,000. So
Let
you
me
just
see here.
want to keep on getting wish lists, so that because wish lists help you even though they don't buy it. Like they're gonna see your game.
Like here, I'm currently showing one on stream. This is one that got, I guess, 1,000 views back then.
Yeah. I mean, you should just keep doing it. Like, it won't hurt you in any way, and people would see your game more, I guess.
Okay, so basically you didn't do any marketing and you had about 300 wish lists on start. So then it's a Genussnificus question. I asked that question as well. What was the reason to pack 3 games into one instead of releasing 3 separate games or focusing on one?
I mean, releasing 3 separate games is wasn't, basically I just wanted to have fun making my first game. Basically.
I see. And so you thought, like after 4 years, okay, this is enough. I'm gonna release it.
I mean, you have to be content after a while.
So you
Otherwise you'd
think,
be
did you
making
have
it
scope
forever.
creep too much and you wanted to be over?
Oh yeah, I definitely had scope creep, and I was like over scoping a lot, and I just managed to get over it.
Okay, so now that you have released your game, right? Do you feel free? Essentially. Yeah, feel free to do finally whatever you wanted to do. Like for example, you're working on a new game now.
I mean, you just like like when you. I mean, I really haven't. I didn't know that I was gonna feel like this, but when I released the game, I like have so much confidence now that I can finish my next one. Especially that the next one is a much more simpler game. You know?
Yeah, so the next game that you're working on is essentially, it's a game about swimming and then going over obstacles while you having enough swimming power, essentially, right?
Yeah. And I
And
also
how
learned a
long-
lot. Like
Yeah.
when I was making my old game, like I've written most systems, like all of the systems actually,
In C++.
And,
Right.
in C++. And when I started this game, I just knew what to do now. I just know.
Yeah, well, how much knowledge of C++ did you have then when you went into this game? Was it completely
I don't
new?
know, 4 years of just trying to make games.
Wait, so you already started to make games 4 years before you started this game. So in total now you have been making games in C++ for 8 years.
Yeah, basically.
And so before then you were making smaller games and then you would quit, right? Like almost everyone.
Yeah.
You grew tired of quitting and wanted to do some real game. And so did that help, the previous knowledge of C++ and the smaller games?
Yeah.
So what was the inspiration for this game?
Inspirations? I don't know. Like the only tower defense game I played was Plants vs Zombies. I haven't played any auto battlers, and I haven't played a roguelike. So I just know how they play, and I just made them.
So essentially you just went in blind.
Yeah, I just went in blind.
And you didn't... so not a single roguelike went into this, essentially. You just thought about it yourself.
I made a game. I was like 6 months in,
Yeah.
and I was like, how do old roguelikes play? So I just played like Rogue and Angband for like 30 minutes and an hour. Like, okay, that's how they roll, I guess.
And so during the development, you didn't do, like, for example, you have watched my streams sometimes.
I mean, yeah, you do check out games a lot, right? Me,
I do that, yeah. You didn't do that at all? You just made your game?
I mean, for UI, I did. I checked out some games, like, oh, how does Latest Spire do this? Oh, Maybe not. Just UI, but gameplay, no.
Would you say that's good or bad to do? Checking out
It's
other games.
definitely good to check out other games. I mean, of course, like especially successful ones. That's just good technique and strategy.
See, like
So what you're doing is better. So don't listen to the haters in chat, brother.
Yeah, no, like they're wrong. I know they're totally wrong. So like they don't even know what they're talking about, but it's fine.
I mean, you can also do it as a marketing strategy, to be honest. Like people just slap in big name games like, oh, this is a love letter to blah 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 fans, to Zelda fans, and of course the Zelda fans are gonna be like crazy, oh, a Zelda game, what the fuck, let's go. Basically, you can do it for marketing. Of course.
Like for example, the latest example we saw, I don't know if you have been here, but Core Keeper. You know, everyone talks about it being the Terraria, Minecraft, whatever. What else? What did you say? I didn't hear you there.
I don't know what Core Keeper looks like.
It's a pixel art game, top down in Unity.
Yeah.
Very successful. Currently has 29,000 reviews. Holy man.
Jesus Christ.
That's crazy, right? And that's essentially how it looks like. It does look like Stardew Valley in a way, yes. It is a farming game, a gathering game. And so they're like, depending on where you come from, you will have some sort of connection to a game that you've already played. And so what you touch on here is, I think it's true. Like the word of mouth, the game is like, or plays like, is very strong. And people can immediately connect with their favorite game and then maybe pick up this. I think for this game, what works the most is exactly that type of marketing. But okay, sir, I want to talk about C++.
Talk about C++? Hell yeah!
So why do you use modern C++, you know? What about C? What about C, man?
I mean, I only use templates, basically.
Templates.
Like, I don't do smart pointers.
Good.
I have my own vector, my vector clone. I have my
Did you copy that from Cakez?
No. Which one?
The vector.
No. Tcap doesn't do dynamic allocation.
Oh yeah, he doesn't. True, yeah. Okay. Yeah, you have your own vector. Sorry, interrupted you.
Yeah, I mean, just the template, the generic programming part, and some of the template meta programming stuff I use. But, and lambdas. That's basically it. Like, I'm not like a heavy modern C++ user that, use smart pointers, little brother. You're not gonna get leaks. I'm not that kind of guy.
I don't think that this is also great. Like, you're gonna have leaks nonetheless if you're not careful. That's how I see it too. Yeah. Okay. Well, so you just use the features of C++ that you like, and as far as I know, you're using CMake to build your game. Is that correct? So this game right here is built using CMake.
For that game, no.
No?
I'm using Visual Studio to build that game. For my new game, I'm using
Visual
CMake.
Studio? Okay, so how does that work? Isn't Visual Studio using CMake? Like, I have not been using it.
I'm not sure if Visual Studio uses CMake.
Like, does anyone in chat know how this works, guys? Is it using CMake? Or like, how do you not know what build system you use? Sorry, what?
I'm not using CMake directly. Maybe Visual Studio has like some sort of CMake thing going on.
Visual Studio uses MS Build. It supports CMake. It does not. Okay, so it's called MS Build. And so if you wanted to use SDL2 in Visual Studio, how would you do that? Would you use their interface, like their UI, to add that in?
Yeah, you would just click some buttons and then, include the library files, the header files, and then the libs. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so now that brings us to the choice, and this is asked by Mr. Real Super Cool. how did SDL affect his development, your development? Did you feel like you were limited by some aspect? Or would you have done it differently if you wouldn't have used, if you chose something else other than SDL2? Or SDL, was it SDL2 or SDL? Pretty sure SDL2, right?
Yeah, it does feel limiting in some way because I am
Really?
using SDL some rendering.
Mm-hmm.
Rendering. So the rendering doesn't support any shaders, but they're gonna change it with SDL 3. So yeah, it does feel limiting in some way. But you know, for a basic 2D game, all you really need is to be able to put some images on the screen
Mm-hmm.
and then just make it look as best as you can.
Wait, how do you do lighting in this game if you don't have shaders?
I have a raycast basically. I raycast like blocks, and if the player's vision, I just render a sprite that is kind of like a shadow. That is
So-
how you see lighting right there now.
You're essentially drawing the sprite darker, or do you draw the sprite and then on top of the sprite you draw a transparent sprite that's darker?
I draw a transparent sprite that's darker. Basically.
Okay. I see.
You really don't need, well, to have realistic shadows, yeah, of course, you need shaders. But for something basic like this, no, you do not
I
need
get it. So we were talking about this, like, I think almost 2 years ago, and I never understood this explanation through chat. Now I see. Because I was like wondering, because you, in my opinion, your tiles, especially in the first roguelike game, where you have these swamps sometimes, right? The green ones, that looked really good. And I was always wondering how you did that. So it's essentially just a transparent sprite on top.
Yeah, just basically what my game uses is alpha blending, additive, color mods, and transparency. Like no fancy shaders.
And so SDL2 does not give you the possibility to have shaders. Still to this day.
If you're using their API, but you can strap in Vulkan, OpenGL, or DirectX, and you can just use, you know, the shading languages that they use.
Wait, so but how would that work? Would you add in C++? No, would you add in Vulkan? Then you have to write the Vulkan renderer code, like initialize it yourself?
You would use your Vulkan rendering code, and you would use SDL for like the windows and the events.
I see. So you basically SDL, for those of you who don't know, is like a package. It gives you sound, it gives you window opening, and maybe other things, maybe logging, and also graphics. And if you choose to use the SDL graphics, then you're limited. But you could say, oh well.
Most stuff is optional. Audio is optional. Graphics is optional. Basically.
Okay, and how was your experience with sound? Because for me, sound is the one thing that I'm still struggling on. How was the sound in SDL2? Was it easy to do? Are you using it even?
Yeah, I'm using SDL. Sound basically works. You just give it an audio file.
And what audio files are supported? Like MP3? Is MP3 supported or just WAV files?
Yeah, most. OGG, WAV, MP3. I don't know about the other. I mean, those are the ones that I know. But I don't know about the other stuff.
And how long does it load? Do you notice any loading issues? Or is it fast? So for example...
I load everything at the start, and it's about, I don't know, including all of the assets, which is like 800 images, about 100 plus sound files.
Damn.
And I would say 8 seconds, 8 to 10 seconds, and my PC is not that high end. So if you have a better PC, maybe it's gonna be shorter.
That means that you're preloading everything. How much RAM is that?
Yeah, preloading everything.
So
For the tower defense, I never unload. For the tower defense, it's like 800 megabytes. For the
that's
roguelike,
reasonable.
500. For this one, I think it's 500 as well.
There's another question by Push, and I guess we could go into this. Shaders were one of the issues. You couldn't really do that.
Yeah.
Any other hacks or workarounds because of the limited design decisions? That is a question by Push. I guess it's also about, and it's also about SDL2. Other
Not
than the
really. Like
shaders.
SDL does warn you. They do tell you that if you want something more, then you probably want to use your own rendering API. Yeah. So I went in knowing that I won't be able to use shaders, so I just worked around it.
So then you never really touched the rendering code because it was already done for you. Because I see myself going back to the rendering code a lot, especially in the beginning with Vulkan and stuff.
Yeah.
So you saved a lot of time there because you knew that this is what you have. And now for your new game, what have you decided? Are you still going with SDL2 or you want to do something yourself? So you would recommend it?
I wouldn't. I mean, for a basic 2D game, yes.
Yeah. I think so too. I'm a little bit put off by the fact that you have to write the renderer yourself if you want to have shaders. I feel like that should have been in SDL2. I don't think that's really difficult to add, but I mean...
they are really trying to make it generic, so you have to write so that it basically works for most systems, right? And it does have different backends, like it does D3D, OpenGL, and Metal. And you wouldn't want to write one shader in OpenGL, for example, and then, I mean, how do you convert it to Metal? How would it be cross-platform?
So what you're saying is, if you develop on Windows with SDL2 and you wrote a shader for OpenGL, the back end of SDL2,
yeah,
and then you port your game to, let's say, Mac, and you can't use OpenGL there, now your shader doesn't work anymore.
I mean, you can use OpenGL there, but the default driver is a Metal, basically. So if you want to use shaders, it would be impossible.
I still think they should have that, because for the most part people start developing to Windows and then maybe they start with Linux before they touch Mac, but I mean, I don't have to use SDL, and if you like it, then why not, right? We have a question from Azenris talking about your coding style, which I think we already know, right? What is your style of coding?
What is my coding style? My coding style is definitely it leans more towards C++ than C. Like, for example, I use references a lot.
So on your screen right now, right?
Yeah.
I think we can see some code.
Yeah, I have my editor on.
So current map name display name dot empty, right? In title screen. I can't show you guys, but that's essentially what you have right now.
Yeah.
And then the load timer here. But it looks all pretty... It looks still readable, let's say that, when you compare this to C++.
Yeah, yeah, true. Readable C++ anyway is how I code.
So, like, here's a question that we didn't have, but I see in your chat right now. Do you use RAII?
Yeah, I do.
Awkward monkey. I see. You see that? He's using RAII, guys. And so, do you think it's a good concept? You have seen my coding style, right? Which is allocate once in the beginning and then just never free.
I mean, yeah, I've seen that.
And
but
so, yeah.
I mean, the flexibility to just, declare a dynamic string or array in a scope. There's some freedom to that.
So, okay.
Right?
Can you give a good example of RAII in your game?
RAII in my game?
Convert me or convince me.
Did I? I'm not trying to convert anyone. It's just my personal style. But yeah, of course.
True.
Maybe capture my screen then.
Okay, yeah, wait. I think I can...
Instead of my face, so that you can see.
Wait, I'm gonna do this. Give me a second. I'm gonna duplicate the scene here. Copy, paste. And then over here. I mean, wait, I need to... yeah, give me a second, guys. We have to invert this.
Oh, it's reversed.
Yeah, wait. It's really small right now.
Like.
Yeah, I'm working on it. Getting there. There we go.
Use case for RAII, dude. I don't know. How would I convince? Well, how would I showcase RAII?
Yes.
I mean, I just use it. I'm not really an evangelist or a C++ modern apologist.
You should probably... I'm gonna move now. So I can see you. I'm gone from your thing.
The fuck? Oh my god. What the fuck is happening, Cakez?
I
What are you
moved
doing?
myself. So I can see your code, bro. I need to see your code. Oh man. Noob streamer, guys. Okay, we're working on it. Okay, it's top production quality here. He just needs to put the eye to off, I think. Oh no, wait. Actually, you have to move it, right?
I mean, like I said, one use case is maybe like if you just want to have the flexibility to, you know, declare a string, string that can have a size, you know,
String here.
like whatever size, right?
Yeah.
See here. I mean, you really don't need to deallocate, but at the end here, but I mean, how else would you want to deallocate this?
You mean if you want to have a variable size string, you start out with a
basically.
generic string and then you add on top of that string?
Yeah, well, if you just want to have a not a string, not just a string, it can be an array really, something dynamic that you don't know what the size is gonna be, and you don't want to limit your array to like, I don't know, 64 elements, and you don't want to limit your string to 128 bytes, because just being able to be flexible is kind of good, in my opinion.
All right, okay. Well, let's move on. I could talk about this for days, but I guess we move on, right? And so Mr. Almeida asks, why didn't you use an engine? You said that you used an engine for 1 hour in the beginning, which is Unity, and then you switched over to C++.
Why? Because I don't like the engine workflow where you open a big application and you have to press a bunch of buttons to like do stuff. And you have like a scene where you add children and nodes. Like, I don't get that part.
You think it's complicated? The scene graph? I think it's called scene graph, by the way.
I don't not really. I really did not dive into it that much, but if you're like somebody who doesn't have a problem with that, then go for it, you know? I mean, it's mostly preference. I just don't like to program that way.
Okay, because
I just write code like this, like run, blah, 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 blah. Render some stuff, clear the screen, basically. Basically that.
Okay. I mean,
and most engines are bloated. I hear people complain about Unreal Engine being bloated, like the load times.
I think
they say it crashes a lot. I mean, I don't know if that's true, but
I don't know, to be honest. Like, it could be. I remember Unity taking ages to boot. And then Unreal Engine, when I started Unreal, it took me like 2 to 4 hours to compile their shaders, which had like 1,500 shaders compiling on first start. I can't see that. And every time I see Unreal Engine editors showcasing something, it's very laggy. But I also have to admit, you know, there are so many great games that came out recently that have been made in Unreal Engine or Unity.
I mean, I think you and I were not like, but we're not like elitists. Like some people would say, "Oh, don't ever use an engine, bro. Engines suck." Like, use an engine, try it. If you like it, then stick with it. And maybe in the future, if you want to try something else, then try something else. That's mainly it. I just don't like the workflow. Me personally, I don't like the workflow. That's why I don't use it. Dude, I have taken over your stream, bro.
There we go. And so, what is the most difficult part about making a game, you would say? Now that you have made one from start to finish, what is the most difficult part?
Like working on the individual parts, I would say. I mean, I'm not sure. Like for me, just working on it every day was the hardest part. Like there were some days where I didn't want to touch it. But you know, I have to touch it. You have to work on it. Touch it is wrong.
Touch it. Okay, touch it gently.
Have to work on it, but like the individual parts of a 2D game, I think they're pretty straightforward. There's lots of code to write. That game on your screen right now is like 100,000 C++ code.
Ha! 100,000.
Yeah.
And people are giving me flag for 23,000 lines of code in my game. Fucking noobs. They don't know what they're talking about. 100,000 lines of code, damn. But does that include STL code too, or is this excluded?
No, it's just
your code.
all my own code, yeah.
Damn, that's a lot of code, bro. Holy. The hardest part for me in making a game is figuring out what players like. How did you tackle that? Like, how did you try to figure out, well, what would people like in the game? Or did you just not worry about it and just made it for you?
I think I know how to figure that out by getting playtesters, but I never really tried to get playtesters. You should do that. You should do that, brother.
So your advice would be to start giving out the game to people to test for you as early as possible.
Like once you're done with your demo, Copium.
Yeah. The demo will come.
Yeah, you just I don't know, make a post about it on YouTube, Twitter, whatever, wherever, and then just learn from there and see what stuff people are confused about, what they think sucks. You just write it down and improve your game.
So wait, did you do a demo in your game or not?
I did do a demo, but I didn't.
How long?
I think 3 months. I mean, my game has a demo right now.
Yeah, it is. Actually, I think you're right. Yeah, well, let me check.
And people say, just give what you have to friends. I don't know if...
friends are not very good.
Yeah, friends are not very good. You want, like, brutal, honest feedback. Like, some friends will, like, sugarcoat it. Like, you know what? I'm blah, blah, blah. Your game's actually very good.
So
you need strangers.
What did you like, I don't know if you knew this or know this, but you know that you can take a look at the demo stats? There's a way in the Steam Partner dashboard where you can go to your demo version's stats and then it shows you the median playtime and at which point people quit your game.
I did show you, right?
What do you mean?
I mean, I did show it to you before.
Yeah, to me. But did you take a look at that when you had your demo out to determine whether maybe you need to change something in your game before you hit the release button? Or did you go in knowing it and saying like, okay, well, maybe maybe I don't need to change it.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I know it was bad, but I did not know what the players didn't like because there was no.
No video?
I mean, I just didn't know. Yeah.
So you had no one giving you a video of them playing the game, and then
I mean,
you
I
could
never showed anyone. Basically.
And so you think, we talked about this on stream today as well, you think having more data that you would pull from these players, maybe using the Steam API, you think that would have helped you to figure out what was the issue or why people would...
I wasn't aware. Does Steam API have that? I wasn't aware that they have that.
Yeah, me neither. I learned about that like 2 days ago, actually.
Maybe a keylogger? Nice one, Abev.
Yeah, keyloggers. Yeah, exactly. No, I think so. Like, maybe you agree. I think the demo version together with these stats and then pooling stats from your demo players, because I'm pretty sure you have noticed that too. Steam always advertises your game. So if you wanted to, I don't think you should, because after 4 years you probably want to do something else. But if you wanted to, you could go right now, look at the stats, and then patch your game, because Steam keeps promoting your game. Right, it keeps sending out impressions to players on Steam. So, but you don't want to do that, right? You want to do something new now, correct?
Yes.
And so, if you were to release your new game, right, what would you do in terms of the demo? How would you do it?
In terms of the demo?
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure you would need one. Cam stuck.
Like,
okay.
to get like feedback, I would probably. You know that there's a new thing in Steam, right? Where your demo can have a page, its own page, and can have reviews or something. Maybe I would use that, like to check, the complaints and what people are having trouble with. That could be nice. And just to get lots of players in general for the demo, maybe like I would enter some showcases. Like there's lots of I don't know how people did it, but I got like plenty of emails saying, hey, you can showcase your game here, like from strangers.
I get these too. I think these are scammers, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, I never answer them. I have seen so many people like, oh, I can advertise your game, I saw...
No, not the advertisement. Like they give you a link to like some festival or something. Saying that you can showcase your game there. Like they're not asking you for anything. Like, hey, you can showcase your game here. Maybe join those, and definitely join Steam Fest. Steam Fest, I think, is a pretty good. It's a pretty good way to showcase your demo.
But you can only join one, if I'm not mistaken.
You can only join one, so you better choose which one you want to join.
I don't know if you remember, but when I released my demo version 2 years ago, there were 2 people that made videos about my game on YouTube, and I could see how they play the game and get frustrated. Yeah. And that was the best feedback I got, essentially.
Yeah,
how would you do that?
Dude, I don't know. Like getting strangers to play your game.
Video, essentially.
Is a pretty hard. Like, I mean, like getting somebody to play your game is pretty hard, let alone ask them to make a video. Maybe this is what friends are good for. Like, hey, bro, can you like send me a video of you playing my game so I can check? Maybe that's what good friends are for. But to get like feedback, dude, I don't know. Like, yeah, video, like to have a video and see how people play it is a very good, it's a very good source.
Right. So because you have streamed in the past and you are streaming right now, right?
Yeah.
So couldn't you when you're starting your stream, maybe you just don't want to stream every day, but let's say you have like set times where you tell yourself, okay, I just made a cool feature in my game and I'm ready for a demo version. Now I boot up my stream, I advertise my demo version during the stream, let's say to, you know, a couple of people that come by, and you know, that basically that piles up over time. And then you tell them, okay, if you play my game, can you make a video of it and then upload that privately on YouTube? It doesn't have to be public. And just send me the link so I can see what you do. That would be very helpful to me. And so maybe over time, even if it's just 2 people, even if it's just 2 people, don't you think that's worth it?
This is probably one of the problems with having a viewers that are also programmers. Like most of the people that watch you don't actually give a shit. So you can have like a demo, ask them to play, and they wouldn't play.
True.
They wouldn't play it. What I actually did was I message the people I know that would play my game, like TCAP, Aizen, Collector, Real Super Cool, and yeah, they did give me feedback. But having your viewers play your game is I don't know if they would play it, to be honest. Like most people, they don't have time.
I think they would, to be honest. You know why I say that?
Maybe
like let's say you stream, I don't know, let's say you stream 2 times a week or 1 time a week, and during that one time you have like 30, 40, 50 viewers, which is what I think you usually have. Only one of them needs to send you a video.
True.
To be it worthwhile. And maybe in the first week or the first time you do this, no one
I mean,
plays.
yeah, you can ask. You can ask
constantly, right?
Yeah, you can ask. I mean, of course, and if you get a video, that's good.
And that is so helpful. That's why I'm saying this. But I mean, I guess we're going a little bit too deep. I just wanted to, like, I think, so my point here is that it is, in my opinion, the most valuable feedback that you can get when someone plays your game and makes a video from it, because then you see where they struggle, essentially. And so...
Yeah. I mean, well, yeah, that's true.
But I guess we should move on, because we've been stuck here for a long time. The most difficult part. And so I have a question. We are now in the release section. And so Lolboy asked, what was your first thought after hitting release or publish button on Steam?
Finally done.
Billions.
Fuck it, I can start my new game. Finally done.
So like, I gotta be honest with you here, okay?
Yeah.
Did you think, or did you have like, so like, if I was gonna press release on my game, you know, I would try to be negative about it and say, okay, well, it's not gonna be good and all. But there would always be like this little thought in my head where it's like, maybe it's gonna earn millions. Like, did you think that, or like, what went through your head? If you're being like 100% for real.
I mean, why do we do this then? Right?
True.
I mean, you want to have some sort of success with your game. Otherwise, what are you making it for? You're making it for nothing?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, you expect to have at least some sort of success. Otherwise, you know, to have, that could be your motivation to make the game, like earn millions, become a billionaire like Elon Musk. Maybe, you know, just want to make a game.
Okay, then we have a question from Shade11. Following up on that question, did you feel a change of status or sense of accomplishment going from someone just developing a game to someone who has a commercial game released? Because you talked about this
not
earlier.
Really. Not really. I mean, if the game did well, and if it like became famous, yeah, we're like, holy shit, I'm so accomplished right now. Look at me. But, you know, I'm still the same old me, silly old coffee lava.
But don't you think it's an achievement to have a game released even if it didn't blow up?
I mean, that's true. Like most people just quit. Like I said before, most people just quit. Like I don't know, 3 months, a month, and they just don't finish anything. I mean, like having. I mean, yeah, it's an accomplishment for me, but maybe for. But my status. But my status really didn't change. You know, I'm still.
I think I feel what you mean, bro. Like, so it's like it would have been cool if it was successful, because then like you have this sense of accomplishment in a way where you can tell yourself that I did something of greatness, essentially.
Yeah, that's true.
And so like what I find most impressive, and I think this needs to be pointed out a lot for anyone that is maybe in a similar situation, you know, making a game or maybe released a game and it didn't turn out the way they wanted it to. Coffee Lava is making his next game. He didn't stop. And that's ultimately what I find the most impressive and the most important thing, is to keep going. Because you ultimately, you are defeated when you stop. That's how I see it. Like, do you see that too?
Yeah, that's true.
And so with your next game, what do you want to tackle and maybe make better than with your first game?
Better, like, I'm pretty sure, like, I'm confident I can finish the game, but, you know, the problem is, again, selling it and letting people know about it is the hard part. I really don't have that big of a reach. Like, I have like 50 followers on Twitter. Like, who am I talking to? So yeah, like I don't have a problem finishing the game. Like this is what I did in like half a month and a half. I mean,
the game that you're showing right now. Wait, let me show that. Yeah, show the game again. This is what you did in a month and a half or half a month?
Yeah.
2 weeks?
A month and a half.
Month and a half.
I started making it after after I press released.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at it right now. I see it.
Looking at it right now. Yeah, so you have like an overworld. You have a map editor.
Wait, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm an idiot.
Wow, you just figured that out. Nice.
Okay, bro. Kind of toxic. Okay. Now it is. Okay.
Yeah, well, basically this is what I did. Like after I pressed release, a day after I started working on this one again. Like I scrapped some of the code, like, and made an editor. I have this overworld. You have your character here, which you can customize. That.
Origin field time. And so you're trying to go into the speedrunning community. Maybe you have a time right there.
Yeah, there's
top right.
built-in speedrun, but yeah, it's mostly a casual game, I guess, where people can play it with just their mouse and a keyboard. And I also have the Steam page ready. I don't know why I did not release it yet. I should have, so I could have milked some wish lists from this interview.
Not only wish lists, but you can also gather feedback already.
Yeah.
That's how I see it too. And so let's play the game a little bit. So what you're doing here is you're gathering speed underwater, or what is the?
You really don't. You're not What do you mean gathering speed? You're just swimming around. There's like no gathering speed. You just swim around.
I thought it was all about approaching very high speeds in water and then jumping out of the water over mountains.
But I guess you also have to be like that, but this is like the most basic gameplay here. You just drag the character with the mouse. And you avoid some obstacles, basically.
I see.
And that's about it. That's the very simple gameplay. And you also have levels like this, where you have like power-ups, bubbles, for example, that lift you up. I know it's hard to control because this is a very early stage, but you know, what can you do?
So it's like you want to go into the, how do you say that? Into the direction of getting over it, maybe? With this?
I mean, I don't know if you can call this getting over it.
No, not
mean,
getting over it, but in the
it has, like,
direction
one
of
level.
difficulty. and control.
Not even.
Did you steal that bra from mate? He did, yes.
I didn't.
Beautiful. But that's a dude. He doesn't need to be
That
covering
is-
his tits. Right?
I mean,
Or is this a very
brother,
inclusive game?
2024, people can wear bras or
Uh-huh.
any sort of underwear that they want.
I see. Stole the
Cancel,
sauce.
brother. Don't be judging, true.
All right, let's speed
Yep.
run some of the questions. I think it's dragging on a little bit.
Yeah.
Shady11 asks, did Cake's slow development progress scare you into finishing your game quicker?
Did Cake slow development progress scare you into finishing your game quicker?
No, I make good progress.
Not really.
True. See, guys.
I mean, I don't know if you like have time to keep on polishing your game, then that's probably good. Me, I just wanted, 4 years is too much.
Yeah,
Too
yeah.
much for a game. So I just went ahead and blasted through it.
So the last couple of months you spent on your game, right? When you stopped streaming, you were solely working on your game. And that was very helpful that you didn't worry about streaming at the same time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it
Like
is.
you can just work on it like every day, like nobody to bother you, no haters and
True, yeah. Bunch of haters.
no A's in recent chat.
Yeah, that's how I see it too. Exactly. Okay, well, Mr. Amida had another question. How is the general traction of the Steam page? Did it go as expected? So the traction meaning how many people click on your... Are you even tracking this data? So you know how Steam... No, you don't?
You
You know how Steam advertises your game with impressions, essentially on the front page sometimes?
Well, I do check. Well, I check, but like at the end, I really didn't care anymore. At first, I was like checking it, how many store pages, clicks, views I got, and by at the end, I just really didn't look at it anymore.
Okay, I mean, this is very, very like a lot of data that Mr. Almeida is asking. Where is there a reason why you did not choose multiple stores to sell your game? Well, probably because Steam is the first, huh?
Yes, and also you would have to modify the code for like different stores. Like for example, Steam has their own Steam API going on. Like you would have to remove that if you want to ship to Epic. Like you would just have to track. You would have different versions of the game you have to ship, and I don't know if it was worth it. And Steam is the better platform anyway, in my opinion.
That's how I see it too. So I would probably start on Steam, and then if it is remotely successful, I would branch out to other places with Steam keys. Yeah. So, okay, I don't think this has any impact, but I'm gonna ask the question anyways. Was the general preference of today's buyers important to you during development? Speaking about what people like playing today, essentially. Or did you just develop the game according to your wishes? No, I think we already know the answer, right? But I guess you could elaborate.
Yeah. I mean, you could, like I said, like looking at what people are playing right now and make clones of those games is a good strategy to be successful, right? But I don't do that. I don't know. I guess you and I are the same like that.
You know what it is, you know? I can tell you what it is. You know how those meta builds in MMORPGs, or let's say in Path of Exile or any other game where you have builds? And
nice connection you're making here, buddy.
It is. So like those meta builds are always very OP and strong, and everyone uses them. I just can't play them because it's too easy. That's just how it is. And so I think that's where this comes from. I think you have that too.
I mean, it's probably not good advice to like I mean,
No, I mean it depends. How do unique games get created?
Yeah,
if you always make copies.
like unique games are underappreciated anyway, in my opinion. Like unique games, like they tend to like one becomes really popular, like every now and then. But like clone games, they are more consistent in success.
Yes, that's how I see
Right.
it too. So like I see it in a way where if you wanna, let's say you start out with game development and you wanna get a foot into game development and you wanna build a base of, let's say, an income or some success. You make a game that already exists. You do the exact same features. You just make it slightly different, and because you already
And
have
you
a
just-
formula for success. Like essentially what AAA does, but in smaller. And like then you can, like this might be a valid strategy because then you might as well, you have some income that supports you, have some feedback from players, you have made some game before, so you have a name in the space, and then you could use that income and influence to make your own version of the game, which could fall flat, you know, could, but you still have the backbone of those other games.
Yeah, true. Like, and then, like I said, you can like mention popular games as a marketing strategy. Like people do it a lot. I've like, you know, people put in their in the about, this is a game inspired from blah blah blah. It's a love letter to blah blah blah, and you know that's a good marketing strategy. To like mention popular games, and you know.
Okay, well, now we are talking about the future. Like, how does the future look for you? Yes, exactly. So Azenris asked, we already know what his next game is. We saw this on stream right now, a second ago. This is his current game. And we already talked about what he would do differently, but I guess Azen really wants to know what shampoo and conditioner you use. Because that's
Shampoo
important.
conditioner I use Tresemme. Tresemme, not sponsored.
What's wrong with this guy? What is he doing? Now, Mr. Almeida, if you had the chance to give your previous self, before starting the development of the game, something along the way, what would it be? So, essentially, what would you change? In a way, right?
If you had the chance to give your previous self, I mean, to give your previous self? What does that mean?
I think it's more in a way where, like, what would you do differently if you were starting the development of this game, the one that you already released, again? Your past self, essentially. Yeah. You come from the future and give your
probably-
past self this OP item or something.
Probably wouldn't be too hasty. Like I just rushed most of the stuff that is not programming related. Like I said, I should have gathered more wish lists. I should have told more people about it. That's about it, really.
So you would tell yourself, your past self, if you were going back in the past right now, you would tell your past self, don't rush releasing the game. Or
Yeah, don't rush releasing the game. But you know, it was ready for years. Like
Yeah, I know.
rotting. My brain is rotting, and
You
I
needed
just
something
wanted-
new. And you wanted it to be released so you can work on something new, which I think is...
And you know, I was content anyway with how the game was, so I just released it.
Okay, I think, by the way, this wraps it up, unless you want to have some closing thoughts.
I have a couple questions for you, buddy boy.
Okay.
I mean, what do you plan to do now, man?
We're gonna build the best TD ever.
Yeah, I know you're
Totally not gonna fail.
I know you plan to do that, but like specifics, and I just want to know what you want to. Yeah, I want to know what you're gonna do now. I know you're planning to make a demo. Soon. Everybody's waiting on that demo. But other than that, what do you plan to do?
Okay, I mean, sure. I plan on essentially going down the polish route from now on. I want to polish and
Like,
get as much
are you gonna get a publisher or something, or
No.
you're just gonna release it as is?
maybe Big Mode, maybe the
Big
Pirate
Mode?
Software publisher, but I think I'm just gonna stick to myself because I like the idea of having all the money to myself and not having to bow to someone when it's not going well.
And how are you gonna market the game? Like,
I'm gonna market the game by making the best game possible and then trying to make specific clips of very interesting game mechanics
I mean, the best game possible.
that I can make, essentially.
That
Like,
you
how
can
can
make?
I make the best game possible
I
that
don't
I can
think-
make?
I don't think it's enough to just make a good game, to be honest. Unless you're like Valve, where people just look at you constantly, what you're doing. Like, would you like both of us, for example, we're just
We're just
one
one small
person.
person, I know.
Yeah.
So, like,
So, like, even bad games get good traction. You don't have to make the best game.
you need to get wishlists up. So the way I see it is like
Yeah,
this.
you can get
So, for example, if I have an interesting thing in my game that captures people the moment they see it. So right now, I don't have that on Steam. And so people see the game on Steam and it's not capturing at all. People don't wishlist it. You don't see any, exactly. So that's what I work on at the moment. It's not something tangible, unfortunately, because I just don't know what it is yet. And I think that is called game development, essentially. You figuring out what is interesting and eye-catching. So, for example, you know what is eye-catching? I don't know if you remember, but the core keeper...
Is your game glitching, by the way?
What is it?
Why is your game glitching? I see them raising their
The
swords.
game is glitching because of fixed timestamp. It's a fixed timestamp issue. Where's that? Core keeper. The eye-catching part about this game, I'm trying to, like, what am I doing? Like, I basically just try to figure out what is interesting, what keeps players engaged in games, essentially, and then repeat that in my game. So I'm trying to look for examples that make games good, and then just copy that. That's what I do at the moment, and then get
Like,
a
you
feel
gotta-
for what
well,
works and what doesn't.
Like, you gotta show people what makes your game good, though. Like,
Yeah,
you can't
so-
just have a good game and just release it on Steam without anybody knowing and hoping it's gonna get like 1 million sales in a week, right?
No,
like,
no, that's
you just ask, for example, I don't know who's the publisher of Core Keeper. Like, just ask how much time they spent on marketing, how much time and how much dollars they spent. It's probably gonna be a lot.
I don't know, actually, to be honest.
But
I see your point. Like, I think you're right, to be honest. I think you're right. So, like, what I think is having one clip of your game that is really interesting on any platform is almost enough marketing to have people be
I
interested
mean,
in your game.
you're betting everything on one clip. I don't think that's a good idea.
I'm not saying that you only do one clip. I'm saying that you do specific clips of shocasing mechanics in your game. And when...
Yeah, I think you should do that often, though.
Yeah,
You should do that at least once a month, I think. Something.
I don't think you can say once a month, because then you just have noise. So,
I mean,
like, for example...
once a month, I think, is not noise. Like, every day is noise, I think.
No, Cakez will make 2 tweets with 1,000 clicks. No, guys, how do I explain that? I think that if you have an interesting game mechanic that you worked on that's polished and you showcase that and people like that mechanic, that can't be timed, because some mechanics take longer than others. Just get a viral clip. And so, like, how can you generate such a clip on a time interval when you don't know how long certain things will take? Can you please show
I mean,
us the
it,
bum
it doesn't.
cheeks?
Who, me? It doesn't even have to be like amazing mechanics. You know, I see people tweet about the most simple stuff on Twitter, and they just get like 2,000 likes. And I'm like, dude, what's so special about this? I know it's just the algorithm. I think you should just keep on
You know what
posting.
I think it is, Coffee Lover? I think you're right. And I've worried about that for a long time too. If a clip of yours or a clip of mine doesn't get any traction and then other clips get a lot of traction, that just means that something's wrong with our clips.
You think?
That something is not interesting enough for people to invest time and effort into those clips. They don't spend enough time on it. And so I can give you a simple example, okay?
Ask Cakez what shampoo he uses. Aizen asked me a question in my chat. What
I don't use
shampoo do you
shampoo.
use? And do you use soap? Do you still not use soap?
No, I don't. I don't
Fuck.
use soap. Like, why would you use that? It's like, it's not important at all. Anyways, like, we're not talking about soap, guys. We are talking about games, okay? We're talking about marketing. And so here's how I see it. I think that people only want to see something interesting that they have not seen before. And if you don't bring that to the table, if it looks generic, if it looks uninteresting, you are not going to find an audience online, even if you have really cool stuff, and people just won't engage with it. And so the first thing that they see is the game's visuals. These two videos, essentially, tell a story that was very eye-opening to me. Now, it's not crazy difference, but it is a difference.
Eye-opening? Pause jump?
So you take a look at this thumbnail right here, this picture. It shows one of my tangerines hitting one of the enemies, and then smart unit AI as a, I don't know, text. And this got me 400 views. That's essentially a devlog. Talking about my game. That's me posting about my game. And back then I did that very often. I did that like sometimes daily, sometimes weekly. I did a lot of stuff. And you can see that they all only gained like a couple hundred views. And then I showed something more interesting.
Like what?
When you see this and it says explore, you're like, okay, oh wow. Now, why do people care about this more? This got 1,800 views, by the way. It's essentially another devlog by me. People connect this with Mario. This has some sort of mystery about it because of the fork. I tried to make fork. Doesn't look that great. And so the mystery behind it and the text explorer makes people wonder and click. And then ultimately, if you manage to not only make a picture of this, but also a small little video where people start to wonder and get invested, people don't get invested in some stuff, but they do get invested in other stuff. And so I wasted my time with this. It didn't hold any like much value. But with this one, I got more into the right direction. And so what this tells me is I should show more of this in clips and videos and pictures to advertise my game. And so how can I make clips of something about this when this doesn't work? And so I need to figure out what works and then focus more on these aspects so that people are hold their attention for longer. And so that's how I see marketing happening for my game, essentially. Like there's more, but essentially I would expand on this and other types of things to show. And if I don't have anything to show, I just don't post because there's no point. Because it's just gonna be white noise. Just gonna get flooded away. And I waste my time. I could be doing something better with my time. That's how I see it. Anyway, so what I'm trying to do is create this eye-catching experience by juicing up my game and creating interesting things, and that's just difficult to do. I don't have a recipe for that. I just try out different things, and if they look and feel good, then I can make a clip. I just haven't found a good feel yet for a clip yet. That's all. But I'm getting close there. I think I'm getting close.
Yeah. But okay. I mean, I just advise to stay away from thinking that, you know, making a good game is good enough to like. I mean, of course, making a good game is good, but telling that good game is a different story.
Yeah, I mean, I have to go through this myself.
Yeah.
So I'm one that is, I think, how do you say that? I'm of the impression that a good game will keep players in the game for long enough that it sells on its own because of Steam advertisement. Because Steam is advertising your game. All the
No, I
time.
don't think Steam. I don't think Steam. I mean, they say it themselves. Like they really don't advertise your game. You have to do it. You
But
have
they
to
do.
it
Like
yourself.
they show your game on the front page if it's good. Like if it
Yeah,
has
I
enough
mean,
sales.
if you have enough wish lists, they will show it.
Yeah, not only wish lists, but also if you get reviews and people play your game for long enough. If it's that, it won't be shown. Of course, Cakez knows better. There's no point in arguing. No, guys, I'm not saying that I know better, guys. That's the algorithm, yeah. The algorithm shows your game depending on how long people play your game and how many buy your game. Yes, and of course, like reviews, you need 10 reviews to get to the front page too. So so what I would do, I worry about the first 10 reviews, but then I would just let Steam do its thing. And if
I mean, they
fail,
do that. Like when you release the game, they do that for like a month. I don't know specifically what they do, but they do say they. I mean, I don't know the term. I don't know. I forgot the term they use. I don't know what happens after a month. Maybe it's just dead in the water and nobody sees it, but I don't know.
I mean, I have to make the experience myself. Maybe I'm still a little, how do you say that? Maybe have like the, what do you say that? Stubborn on this?
Yeah.
We watched the video that I explained the algorithm, but I forgot. Yeah, I still have it in my brain. We think we had enough of your questions. Now let him go, Cakez. He's asking me questions. Are there more questions? I hope I answered your question good enough. Maybe a little bit too rambly.
Again, are you gonna do some sort of Kickstarter or something, or no?
I don't know yet. The problem with Kickstarter is the key review keys that you have to give them. You give out free keys for your game, and then these reviews don't count. Kickstarter helps you gain money and advertisement for your game, but you still have to earn enough reviews nonetheless. And I don't know, because Kickstarter is an investment, but it could also pay off very well in terms of marketing efforts. So I don't know, to be honest. I think I'd rather go down the animal well route or the Vampire Survivors route. One of them. Lean more
What
towards
is
those. The animal
what is
route
the-
is Big Mode. There's Big Mode, a website where Video Game Donkey publishes games, and the other one is just releasing the game without any publisher, like Ponkel did, the Vampire Survivors developer. Both of them are no guarantees, and what Ponkel did, the Vampire Survivors developer, is the most risky because it doesn't have any advertisement.
True.
Yeah, but I don't know yet. Currently, I'm trying to make the game as fun as possible, because ultimately I started to really care about playing my game. Actually, I started to have fun, and I just want to continue that at the moment. And so I try not to worry
Are you
about.
really gonna stick with the oranges now?
Maybe. Like, I can see it, because if I change the oranges to something else, then Tangy TD, I think I have a very good name for my game. I think TD and Tangy Defense.
I mean, if you're gonna base your game based on the name, I don't think that's a good idea. You know.
No, it's
you should
supposed to be
base-
catchy. Like, people will remember the name because TD stands for Tower Defense Game and Tangy Defense. So like,
Oh, just
I don't
that.
wanna say anything bad about Crystal Guardians, right? I think the game is awesome, but I think me not being able to remember the name, and I know I'm bad with names, but I think that speaks to the it speaks against the name Crystal Guardians, because it is not memorable enough. And a memorable name does a lot. And I think TD, Tangy Defense, basically the acronym, the abbreviation of TD being the name itself, is something that I just stumbled across, and I think it's worth it to keep. That's how I see it. Are the oranges being replaced by monkeys? You're banned.
Holy! Somebody unban Orshi, please.
Yeah, true. Moron.
Unban him. Unban him.
So, like, I don't know if it's a good idea. I only know if it's a good idea once I have my demo version out with all of the features and see how long people play.
I just think that like having oranges. I mean, just think of Plants vs Zombies, for example. Like most of the plants there.
Perfect. Yeah.
Most of the plants there have like their own unique abilities. Like you just have oranges as characters, basically. That's what I'm thinking. You can literally replace oranges with something, and it wouldn't change the gameplay at all. Right?
I mean, if you're like, you bring up a good point though. If my oranges are not good enough in terms of how they look and what they do differently and their shape, then maybe I need to work on different, like for example, I think I do, like these two look different, right?
Maybe just,
that's a lady.
I don't know, I think the skills, like for example, it should be like lemon squirt or something ability, if we're talking about oranges here.
I see, so these oranges use more orange themed abilities.
Yeah, more like, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah,
that
maybe. We'll have to see.
Than like having generic ability names.
I mean, my names are not that great, I know, but you know, I know what you mean. I know what you mean, you know. It is how it is right now, but maybe the names can change in the future. But I'm not gonna redo all of my abilities now, bro. Like, look at all of the abilities, man. Like, how much work that is, bro. We'll have to see.
You do you.
Yeah, like, I mean, I think ultimately people will care about the gameplay the most, how it feels. But I don't know yet. We'll see. Whenever the demo comes out, then I can tell you more.
People gonna... Guys,
I hope
give
that
Cakez
by the end of this year.
All right? Give Cakez... Dude, you said that last year.
Yeah, I know. I said that last year, but this year is different. Because I made much more progress last year than this year. No, I made much more progress this year than last year. Yeah. So last year I was still figuring out YouTube and stuff. And it's all coming into place now. I had no idea these things were oranges. I didn't know they were. I don't think it matters that much to a degree, but not too much. Hazelnuts Cakez, I have a question for you both. Will you ever team up, not with each other, just in general for future projects, or will you stay solo forever? I see myself expanding in the future if I'm successful enough. Coffee Lava?
Yeah. Sure, why not?
Because ultimately you get more stuff done, right? You can delegate some tasks.
Yeah, in some departments, you can definitely share some work.
So, for example, I would hire someone to do art. I like doing art, but if I have someone doing it for me, for a 3D game, for example, yeah. I don't know about you. Your art looks amazing too.
I like drawing art. I mean, I like making games. Like, I don't know.
Cakez would get Ramis and super cool and only do reacts. Yeah, sure, bro. Of course.
Yeah, maybe why don't you try to interview Ramis next or Real Supercool?
I don't know if he can speak too much about it, to be honest. I mean, I can ask.
I don't know wanted to talk to me, but here you go, buddy.
Because I like you and I think your game
Oh.
being out is awesome. And I just hope that, I don't know, maybe this helps a little bit. And also I just like talking about, because you're a solo developer as well. And you have just gone recently through the entire process of making and releasing a game. And that takes a big toll on someone. Cakes likes coffee. Yeah, I do, yeah. Of course. Interview Super Cool is nice, but he's also a man of math. He's not gonna stand for these delusions. He will shut you down. I'd love to see that. Ah, fuck. Get the fuck out of here, bitch. Yeah, that's essentially why. And I'm very happy that you did this. It must have been tough as well, probably, from you, or was it okay?
With what?
I don't know,
Interview?
talking. Yeah?
Oh, really?
Okay.
Well,
I
you
mean,
seem to have more IQ than you have on stream, so that's good.
I have more IQ than I have on stream.
What you usually show, anyway.
No, I don't think that's true, to be honest. I think people just don't listen when I stream. I don't know, I feel like I'm
Really?
talking. Yeah, I feel like I'm talking and people just don't listen. Like they try to hear something else. I don't know. No, like guys, that's true. Because I literally said the same thing today that I said all the time. You guys just don't listen.
Everyone else is wrong.
Anyways, okay, so I really appreciate it. And I hope you, you know, with your next game. How long do you want to work on this before you release it? You have a set time?
This one, I'm confident I can finish it next year.
Next year?
Just
that long?
1 year.
Really?
Yeah.
So what do you plan on adding to the game then? That's missing right now.
More levels, of course, more mechanics,
Mhm.
polish.
Okay. But the
gonna
core
be a
idea will
simple
stay
game.
the same. And you're not
Yeah,
going to add
well-
2 more games to it.
I mean, of course not. It's gonna be a simpler game.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay,
Anyway,
Mr. Coffee Lover.
I think that's it.
Yes, sir.
So I'm expecting $500.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thank you, brother.
Chat will pay that in a
Thank
couple
you
of
very
days.
much.
Yeah.
In a couple of days, okay.
Yeah. Chat will do
Anyway, I'm streaming, so I'm not gonna go away. I'm just gonna stop calling. I'm just gonna
Right,
stop the
yeah.
Discord call.
that. Mr. Lava, you have a good one. Thank you so much for
Thank
doing
you,
this.
brother. Thank you.
See you, my man. Okay, how
Bye-bye.
do we get... There we go. Guys, what did you think? Huh? How was it? Give some feedback. I know it was scuffed. I know it was bad. I do agree. It was bad. Yes. It wasn't the best. Keep the face. Should have done half the time and better questions. Yeah, I see. Like, we rambled on a little bit. I see that, yeah. Very cool. You liked it? I think it was okay. All up until the point when you started blabbling like an insane batch. Also, you didn't introduce him, Cakes. Didn't I? I did not. I thought I talked about the game in the beginning. You aren't that bad of an interviewer. I enjoyed it and I didn't mind the length. A bit more planning and it would be great. Yeah. So it will obviously get better if I do this more in the future. I've never done this before. And obviously I was gonna make mistakes. And I tried to prepare as much as I could. Interviewing is a skill, exactly. So I did realize that there were a bunch of pauses in between and where, you know, we had some awkward silences as well. I think that's just the nature of your first interview. And so I was just taking that and just going with it, and then just, you know, I try to improve towards the end a bit more, you know. How about writing the name of the dev or the game of the game in the title? Stream next time, Cakes? Yeah, that's a good idea. You're right. I could have done that, yeah. That's some good improvements, you guys. Yes.